Humans impact many things around them. One example is the ocean. Fishing, littering, and oil spills all negatively impact this environment and is what kills organisms living in it. Beach cleanups, conserving water, and reducing plastic are all examples of what humans do that positively impact the ocean's environment and the organism's living status. Marine protective areas, also known as MPA, are regulations and policies enforced in certain areas of the world to protect marine life and manage what goes into the ocean. Abiotic factors are the non-living parts of an ecosystem. Some examples are the water, sand, sunlight, sea salt, and rocks. Water is where the organisms live and what the environment is physically made up of. The sand is a habitat for the organisms and is part of the Earth's crust. The sunlight is what fuels photosynthesis for plants in the ocean, which then provides oxygen for the organisms living in the ocean. Sea salt is what supports the marine life, and the rocks are habitats for the organisms and are part of the Earth's crust.
Adaptation. The first organism we have is sea turtles. Their adaptation is their flippers, which helps them better navigate through the water. Next organism is kelp. Their adaptation is anchoring plants to the floor of the ocean using its roots, which helps to keep plants in place. The next organism is a crab. Their adaptation is to camouflage, and that helps them to avoid getting eaten by prey or any other animals. The last organism is seaweed. Their adaptation is holds fast for anchoring. That helps them to be flexible and to bend and move during currents.
Organisms in our environment. Producers are grass, algae, and phytoplankton. Consumers, fish, jellyfish, and octopus, eel, shrimp. Decomposers, bacteria, fungi, and marine worms. And for what is a producer? A producer is a living thing that makes its own food using sunlight, water, and air. A producer in the Pacific Ocean is grass, algae, and phytoplankton because they make their own food using sunlight. For what is a consumer? A consumer is a living thing that cannot make its own food, so it eats other plants and animals to get energy. A jellyfish, fish, octopus, eels, and shrimp is a consumer because they cannot make their own food and must eat other organisms to get energy. And for what is a decomposer? A decomposer is a living thing that breaks down dead plants and animals into nutrients and returns them to the soil or water. A decomposer in the Pacific Ocean is bacteria, fungi, and marine worms because they break down dead plants and animals and recycle the nutrients back into the ecosystem.
Here we're talking about the energy flow and the food web. So in the text below it says sun, algae, small fish, big fish, and decomposers. So a food chain shows how energy passes from one organism to another. In this food chain, algae uses sunlight to make food, and small fishes eat the algae. Big fishes eat the small fish, and decomposers break down into dead organisms. And down below, we're talking about the energy flow, and the energy flows through the ecosystem, through producers to consumers, then decomposers. Producers being like plants and consumers being like animals. When organisms die, decomposers break them down and returning nutrients to the environment. Going back to the food chain starts with the sun that is providing the energy, and the algae are producers. So they use the sun's energy through photosynthesis to make their own food. And the small fish are primary consumers because they eat the algae. And the big fish are secondary consumers because they eat the small fish. When the algae, the small fish, and the big fish eventually die, decomposers break them down and send nutrients back into the environment, which can then be used to producers like algae. Basically, what energy flow is it's the movement of energy through an ecosystem. And producers capture energy, usually from the sun, and consumers obtain energy by eating other organisms. Decomposers recycle nutrients from dead organisms and make them available again for producers. But energy flows in one direction, and energy enters most ecosystems as sunlight. Producers like plants and algae convert this light energy into a chemical energy in the form of organic compounds, which is food, through photosynthesis. When a primary consumer eats a producer, it obtains that chemical energy. And this energy is then passed on to the secondary consumers when they eat primary consumers, and so on.
The end. Thank you. Make sure to like and subscribe for more Ocean End biology content. Love you guys. Bye.